What's up guys, Speeed here, and today we're back with another video, and this is something I did a long time ago. In fact, when I was getting into YouTube, this is probably one of the main videos I wanted to make, and it did well when I made the first one, and that is lane combos. We're going to talk about just different lane combos you can run in your pubs to dominate people. Because I've been watching a lot of the pro scene recently, and you know, there hasn't been any majors or minors to really look at, but there has been tournaments here and there, and therefore I've gotten some new ideas just from, playing my own pubs and watching pro matches to bring you lane combos that stomp other lanes. I know before we get into it, if you're excited for this video and you want to just help out your boy Speed in his YouTube journey, like the video, it helps me out. It helps us grow the channel, and that's really the goal here. I'm trying to grow the channel and continue to provide you guys with cool content that helps you learn the game of Dota and enjoy it. So let's get into it. Also, over on the main gameleap website, I plan to do some more content in terms of pro replays. Usually, I focus more on doing the pro replays for YouTube, but I want to do a few for the main website as well. In addition, I'm doing Random 6K. If you don't know what that is, Random 6K is where I basically play pubs and I analyze my own games so you can get in the head of me, a pro player, because typically when I'm doing these pro replay analysis, I have to, and not completely guess, but somewhat guess on what they're thinking and what their opinions are. But when I'm doing my own replay analysis, I can give you exactly what I'm thinking and show you exactly how I win my games and how you can do it too. Now, the first lane is one that doesn't necessarily straight up dominate lanes, and is actually more oriented towards securing a strong lane for a farming safe laner. And what do I mean by that? Well, the first lane I want to present is Viper Animage. Yes, Viper Animage. Now, why do I think this lane is pretty strong? Well, typically I think Animage is, one of the weaker laners in Dota. The hero struggles to trade 2-on-1, unless he has a really good lane support, he doesn't really want to trade too much. And Viper is kind of just the perfect hero for that right now. Viper is by far the best trader in Dota right now. Well, I think maybe you could argue some heroes could actually deal with him or some lanes, but for the most part, Viper, especially if it's 1-on-1, just destroys most heroes. And as a result, he enables Animage. Because Animage is actually a fairly high damage hero with mana burn, but the problem is if you take mana burn, you don't have any proper sustain or disengage or mobility, so it creates a major issue. But with Viper, that's not as much of a problem because the trade is going to be significantly in your favor for the most part. So if you combine mana burn with poison attack from Viper, if anyone oversteps and you combine these together, especially if you buy an Orb of Venom on Animage, which I actually do recommend, not on Viper, on Animage, just to be clear, because I've seen people buy Orb of Venom on Viper. That is straight up awful. But this lane is really strong, and the reason why I like it is because Animage is a hard carry as well, so it's a synergy, but you have a hard carry. And the thing is, you can do this with a lot of lanes. You could do it with Naga. If you really want to dumpster people in lane, you could go Jug, you can go Troll, even Ursa. But I really like the Animage because I think it's kind of this nice mix. Now, the next lane I want to talk about is Puck CM, which might sound weird to you guys because you hear Puck CM and you're like, oh, this is just too ranged, really squishy ranged hero. How could they possibly do anything in lane? But the thing is, you could even combine Puck with a lot of different heroes. The main thing I want to talk about here is side lane Puck, especially position 1 Puck, safe lane Puck. And I might be like, well, Speed, that's ridiculous. Puck's not a safe laner. Well, actually, Puck is being picked by a lot of pros as a safe laner because of its ability to use phase shift attack. It means you can go a lot of these right-click builds with Deso and Crit and Maelstrom that are really strong. And therefore, I think Puck CM is a fantastic lane, and I'll talk about a couple other ones, but this one is nice because it gives Puck a ton of mana, and basically you just cast 2 of these AoE nukes, even 3 once Puck hits level 2, and you just nuke people down, and if they get even relatively out of position, they get slowed, they get auto-attacked to death, and the wave is constantly getting shoved into them, right? Puck and CM can easily push in the wave, which is going to give them a natural creep advantage as long as their spells are both hitting heroes and creeps at the same time. And you have to understand, when you're trading in lane, this is a severe advantage simply because once you have less creeps because you nuke them down, you're winning the trade. And just to give another option, I think Puck Abaddon is another fantastic lane that is just absolutely disgusting to lane against. If Abaddon has his Curse of Avernus and gets the procs off, as well as Puck, having some of the best right clicks in the game, as well as the ability to chase people down with his Orb, John, you just track people forever with this combo. In addition, Abaddon gives fantastic sustain to a hero like Puck, who can get zoned out by specific lanes. Next up is a lane I saw by PSG LGD, and I actually just yesterday, I believe, made the how to carry Riki video, and I'm actually a big fan of this hero, but I think one of the main ways to enable it, which I mentioned in the video, is to actually pick it with a hero that gives it kill potential, right? Heroes like this are Lich, Grimstroke, even the Viper as I mentioned, right? But the first one, and the main one I want to mention because I think it's great at all stages of the game, right? At all stages it has a lot of synergy, is Grimstroke Riki. Now, if you want to see this lane in action, I recommend you check out the video I made yesterday, but it's just so much kill potential. Blink Strike with Inkswell doesn't really need much more to say. Also, Riki and Grimstroke have multiple synergies. Even just Smoke Cloud into, a Stroke of Fate slow enables Riki to get a kill on some key targets. Also, the silence is fantastic in addition, and even the link allows you to keep people in smoke screen for a little bit longer. Overall, I just think this combo is absolutely fantastic and should continue to be abused for as long as it's strong. The next one is a combo I saw by OG Seed. And it might be like, Speed, what is OG Seed? Who are they? Well, OG Seed is it's like the B team for OG. I don't know if that makes any sense. That's what we'd call it here in America, like the B team, or I guess tier 2 team, but they're not really tier 2. They're like tier 1.5. And No-Tail was actually playing with them, I guess as a stand-in in a recent tournament or some recent pro matches. And one of the lanes they were picking was Bloodseeker Disruptor. And I think they actually lost this game, funny enough, but I thought the lane was just brutal. They did very, very well. And the reason being, Bloodseeker's W is currently one of the best spells in Dota. Bloodright is so good. It is so good. Bloodright is unbelievable. I believe it's like 70 mana for 120 damage pure on a low cooldown. It's incredible. And you combine that with Kinetic Field, and all of a sudden you can reliably get people inside of the Bloodright. In fact, you can get 2 people if you're really good at positioning the Kinetic Field and catching people off guard. Also, Disruptor is one of the best traders in Dota. Believe it or not, I've said this for a while. I believe Disruptor has 625 attack range, which enables him to hit people from further away than any other hero. In addition, his Q, right, the Thunderstrike, enables him to have vision when people are juking in trees, right, because it simply provides vision. And as a result, it's easy to land Bloodrights, it's easy to chip people down, and if you know anything about Bloodseeker, when people get chipped down in the landing stage, he goes really fast, gets a lot of attack speed, and tracks you down. Also, I think just in the mid game, this is a great combo as well, because you have the Rupture in a Glimpse combo, if, that happens to work, or you simply can once again, use the Bloodright to zone people out. When you glimpse someone back in the mid game, the enemy team is going to have to respond and follow it up behind. But the thing is, if you Bloodright on the path where the enemy team has to come from, they get cut off, and it just creates this awful situation where one of their teammates is getting kinetic fielded and then static stormed by Disruptor, and then the rest of the 4, especially if it's in a fight around the mid lane, are going to be completely zoned out by Bloodright. Now, the next combo I want to talk about revolves around Lich, because as I said in my underrated videos, I think Lich is one of the best laners in Dota, and of course this is a lane combos video, so how could I not mention Lich then? And so yes, I'm mentioning Lich, right? This hero's ability to Frost Blast and then Frost Shield enables him to have 2 slows, right? That's just logic. And once you pair him with a hero that likes the ability to man up and does a lot of damage in close range, you do a lot of damage. It's kind of that simple. So what are heroes that do a lot of damage in lane? Well, I can name a couple. I think one of the best ones is Gyrocopter. If you combine these 2 heroes in the mid game especially, you do an unbelievable amount of magical damage. It's just insane, probably some of the highest in Dota. But even just in the lane, you have the Frost Shield into Rocket Barrage. And one of Gyrocopter's main issues is his inability to tank damage. But if he has a Frost Shield and a Magic Wand, he all of a sudden is one of the tankiest heroes in Dota pre-10 minutes, and that's absolutely nuts considering he does some of the most damage in Dota pre-10 minutes. And the next hero I want to mention with Lich is Slark, because Slark often has the ability to stay on top of people, which sounds weird because he has Pounce, but if you commit to Pounce too early, you can get turned on, and Slark doesn't necessarily have the best HP to start. But the thing is, with Frost Blast and the constant harass from Lich, the enemy will always be relatively low, which enables Slark to trade, and same thing with Gyrocopter. The Frost Shield completely enables Slark to build up Essence Shift and dominate the lane. The next combo I want to talk about is one that I heard about recently from a friend of mine, and my friend basically has been watching Flea stream. If you don't know who Flea is, he's a position 4 player from the NA scene, and he's been playing position 4 Batrider and basically dragging the second wave of the offlane as a position 4 Batrider into the jungle and jungling. The benefit of this is he gets extremely farmed. You might be like, well, Speed, this isn't really a lane combo, but I want to put it in the video anyway, because it kind of is. Sure, they're not laning together, but basically the idea is you pick Batrider and then a strong solo offlaner. What do I mean by a strong solo offlaner? Any hero that can naturally do better than others when left alone. So a couple of heroes that come to mind for me are Doom does pretty well, and Nature's Prophet does pretty well. These are 2 heroes that can do generally well when left alone. And yeah, so I know that's kind of weird, and this one might not make much sense to you, but if you watch any of Flea's gameplay, if you look him up and watch some of his games, you'll notice this, and I think it's very effective, as you basically have 2 position 3 heroes on the map. The next lane I want to talk about is Phoenix and Brewmaster. Now, why do I think this lane is strong? Well, I think Phoenix and Brewmaster just have nice synergy because of the Cinder Brew. So currently, I'm even sort of confused by Cinder Brew as it got changed, but basically this spell is very strong right now because what it does is it causes enemy units to move slower, right? So it slows them, and once they take any spell damage, they get ignited, right? Any spell damage. And Phoenix obviously has no problem in getting out spell damage, but the thing is, the duration is increased by 3 seconds when ignited. So essentially, if I'm reading this correctly, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, because frankly, I haven't even been able to play Brewmaster. I have seen it in games, but of course, things even like this can confuse me to a large extent. But ignition total damage does around 100 right now, and it can get reset, which basically means if you cast spells and you can reset it, you're going to do a lot of damage. And what does Phoenix do? Well, Phoenix does multiple instances of damage, right? You have 5 in total, considering birds give you 4, and then your Icarus dive gives you 5. And as a result, you can kind of just consistently reset the Cinder Brew, which slows people, which means it's easy to hit fire spirits, and as a result, it's a strong combo. Also, you have some of the best teamfight in Dota, considering you can egg, and then whoever the egg killer is, let's say they have a Rana who has high attack speed to kill the egg, or they have an Ursa or a Lina, you simply lift them up with the split panda, and all of a sudden the egg will explode. And finally, the last lane I want to talk about is an offlane combo, which is Skywrath Legion Commander. This is one that has been popular for quite a long time. It's similar to Skywrath Mage Axe, if you've seen that before. And basically the idea is you have Skywrath Mage, one of the highest DPS heroes in Dota, stand behind a strength core. It's very simple, no need to overthink it. All you do is simply cast the spells of Skywrath Mage, right-click, and use the Legion Commander as your shield. So if you notice yourself trading as Skywrath Mage on the side, and you're in a 1v1 that isn't too favorable, all you need to do to win this lane is simply go behind the Legion Commander, let Legion Commander spam her nuke, you spam your nukes, and you trade together, and all of a sudden you have one of the easiest laning stages in Dota that does some of the most damage in Dota. And not to mention, these two heroes in combination going into the mid and late game have one of the most straightforward combos in Dota. You duel into Mystic Flare with the silence, the nukes, and all of a sudden they die. Basically anyone dies. As long as you are not 8 levels behind, they'll probably die. And yeah, that's the strength of these lane combos. As long as you have a couple of these in mind when you're playing Dota, it's going to enable you to do a lot better early on, especially when in the drafting phase, because I see a lot of people picking ridiculous lanes that simply have no synergy or will most likely get run over. One I recently saw is I watched a low MR pub, and they had an anti-mage and the support picked AA. And you know, AA is a good hero for certain scenarios, but the thing was, the anti-mage was against a very difficult lane, and as a result, he got absolutely crushed because he didn't have a hero like Viper to zone him out and set up for him. And that's why lane combos are important, but hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, please don't like and subscribe to help our channel grow. And of course, I'll see you in the next one. Are you tired of being hard stuck at your rank? Over at gameleap.com, we have a library of hundreds of guides authored by pro players and coaches covering literally every aspect of Dota. Whether you're looking to master a new hero or role, or just polish up your existing skills, GameLeap is the proven place for competitive gamers to hone their craft and unlock their secret potential. Hit the link on screen right now, to take advantage of our special offer for a 25% discount, guys, 25%, and start your journey today.